I'm Mr. Hoyt. I share the athletic director role at Laguna Middle School. This evening will be mostly information from both Coach Wright and Coach Vankira, who are far more versed in the sport of volleyball than I. It's almost laughable, the amount of the extreme amount of volleyball knowledge that they have compared to my little. So I'll really just kind of focus on like the logistics of just the athletic department in general, talk transportation and things like that, and then hand off to the two of them. This is a small enough group that we can break out into breakout rooms if our coaches see fit. One. So first, I'll put in the chat here our schedule, because as a live document, it is subject to change. So even the one that came out from your coaches in the very beginning of the season is now a little bit different. There's a little school across town, our rival, one with a cross on top. They decided not to have volleyball this season. So we are without 2 games against Mission, which was a bummer to have a short season already strapped and lose a couple more games off of it. Over the weekend, I added 2 games with Los Osos. So that's different. So those 2 Mission games have been removed, and we've added 2 Los Osos games, one home and one away near the end of the season, one March 30th at home, and then April 4th away at Los Osos. I say this is a live document because that's exactly what it is. We're changing it. Transportation is super impacted right now. I like to tell the sad but nonetheless funny story that during our girls basketball season, the school district bus mechanic actually had to leave his post and drive our girls to an away game in Paso Robles because they were so short staffed. So transportation can change, the leave times, all of that can adjust. So this document that's posted on the school website is really your best resource versus printing it out and having it on the fridge in a rigid and static state, as much as it would be ideal to be able to do that. As a school team, we will get out of class sometimes earlier than the end of the school day for these away games. So students will be dismissed from 5th or 6th period, depending on the timing of that. I or the coaches will meet them on the bus or at the bus circle, and they'll hop on the bus, do the safety talk, ride down to the school, participate in the game. If you're interested in driving your student home from those games, you certainly can. You'll just sign out with the coaches. And if you're interested in driving somebody else's student home, that's totally fine. So if Steve Chan wanted to drive Drew Howe's home with him and Bruce, and Dan Howe's can't make the game, that's totally fine. Just put it in writing to myself or to the coaches, and you can even make that a blanket letter or email for the whole season and make it effective for the entirety of the season. Grades, I've checked everyone's on these 2 teams' grades, which is, you're all doing a fantastic job as parents of student athletes. They're doing great, but they do need to maintain a 2.0 to be eligible to play and not necessarily practice. Just trying to foster that sense of being a student athlete. On what's next? Apparel. Optional apparel is available through J. Carroll. The link to that is on Google Classroom. I'm hoping that the deliveries for that will happen in the middle of next week. They'll close tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, March 1st. And again, I'll hope to be picking those up Monday, Tuesday next week and having them out at practice soon. Coaches, is there anything else you'd like to hear from me or like me to touch on before I hand off to the more nitty-gritty nuts and bolts of the sport?
All right, I think you covered, the transportation schedule, apparel stuff. So otherwise, I'll cover some coaching philosophy, just kind of how we run the 7th grade team from there. Val, is there anything else you can think of that Mr. Hoyt would need to share?
The only thing I can think of, we just gave out uniforms today, and we were short shorts. And I guess we're ordering some, but if they're wearing black shorts, that's probably going to be fine.
Yeah, and I did soccer uniforms this afternoon, and we're just doing soccer tops this year, and they're nearly identical black shorts. So I'm going to bring those up and see if they'll fit.
Okay.
Fit our volleyball players. Jeff asking about tournaments, those will be after school events. They won't run during the school day, but parents are more than willing to attend. That's sending me into another reminder. There's a chance that we end up in a position where our players are going to need to test for COVID. It doesn't seem likely given the way that things are headed from a masking and COVID protocol standpoint, but there is a possibility of that. That's something we were doing during the girls' basketball season, and they were playing unmasked and testing on a weekly basis. In the event that that happens, I'll be doing that testing for COVID Tuesdays during fifth period. Again, I don't think it's going to be an issue just given the way that things are headed numbers and policy wise, but I do want to plant that seed. And so Jeff, those volleyball tournaments will be similar to basketball tournaments where a schedule will come out about a week or so in advance, and there'll be a bracket and we'll get seeded into it and work through it. So I think they're slated to start on Wednesday, Thursday, but they'll roll forward. Good question. Yes, there will always be transportation home from games, but you do not have to use it. There are many times that our coaches are riding home on an empty bus and just them and the bus driver, which is fine. It's totally available for students if they need it. The bus is going to take our coaches home because they drove themselves to school. And occasionally on those farther away home game or away games, we'll do like a in and out stop to have the meal stop experience as part of the school sports tradition.
And usually we schedule those so parents will have an advance notice. It's not like we're just going to decide at one of our games, oh, we're also going to do a dinner stop, short notice. Your bus is going to be home an hour later than planned. So as Mr. Hoyt and Mr. Wright and I'll look at the schedule and decide when the best time for one of those away dinner stops will be, and we'll notify all of the families. Yeah,
we'll put that in an email and as well as classroom, and then orally to students at practice so that everyone's aware, hey, bring money for this. This is happening. We'll get home a little bit later.
Yep.
Do the two of you prefer to do a breakout room and split these 8 to 9 families into each room, or do you want to kind of run it jointly? I'm fine with either choice.
We usually divide and conquer when we meet in H1. Val, are you okay with that?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay. Maybe I'll have people put up their hands if they'd like to be put into Coach Wright's breakout room, which would be the 8th grade parents. You can use the raise your hand icon. Let's see here.
So to help you out, Mr. Hoyt, I'm seeing Dan, Tracy, Steve Chan so far.
Right here
And
now.
Jeffrey Brando as well. And then Derek Sass, is that an 8th grade hand as well? Okay. So we got Dan, Tracy, Derek, Steve, and Jeffrey Brando.
And Amy Robbins.
And Amy Robbins. There you are.
And us.
And Mary Riley.
Cool. So I'll do that. 1, 2. All right. If I ended up messing this up, which I don't think I did, because I've got Steve, Paul, Mr. Khalil, Coach Mankura, Derek Sass, Brendan Egan, Anna's iPhone 8 Plus, and Allie on their way into room 2, and then the rest of you into room 1. All right, that's that. I'll send you off.
Okay, so if you just choose to leave room, and then we can have Mr. Hoyt. Mr. Hoyt, if you can hear me, the account that they actually need to go to 8th grade.
Who did?
The one, I think they already dropped off. Derek Sass is what the name on the Zoom
Cool.
is.
I will fix it. So let's see if I can figure out these breakout rooms again. Okay, so Derek Sass, I'm moving to room 1. And then Jeff, would you like to be in room 2? Yes, I'm assuming.
Okay, thank you. This game tomorrow is going to be kind of like a test case where we're going to be writing down everything that we possibly can as far as what we do well, what we can improve, and more importantly, what the personalities are with the group and how well they work together. That's going to be key. And fortunately, after this game with Evil Arroyo Grande, we'll take what we've learned from it and set up our practices according to that, and that'll help us a lot in the following week. So I'm kind of glad we have this game in a way, just to see who we are, how we can move people in and out of the game. I do a lot of substitution with primarily the setters, and so you kind of will see them coming in and out often, and hopefully our practices will kind of give students at different opportunities so that they can take it on to high school. That's kind of what our aim is, rather than beating the world.
Cool. Malia, I have both groups in breakout rooms, the 7th and 8th grade. What grade is your student in?
7th.
Perfect. And then the Cleary family, I'll move you guys also in with Coach Van Kira. I kind of open the meeting with like logistical athletic department stuff, and the coaches are getting more into the technical of how they're really running the team. If you want to hang back after their portion and I can chat with you and repeat some of that beginning stuff, that's totally fine. But for now, I'll just push you in with the two of them.
Great, thank you.
So Cleary family, you can pop into room 2 with Coach. Oh, come back in. So Cleary family, you're in here twice, no worries. I push people into breakout rooms, so I'll move you all in with the 7th grade group.
Okay. Okay, 8th grade's all done.
Cool. Tracy, do you have a question for me?
We'll see what happens tomorrow. Okay. We'll see you. See you early.
I feel like volleyball is a little bit of an easier